Hi, I'm Diane Dayton. We're at the 20th Annual VF Outlet Berks Jazz Fest in Reading, Pennsylvania. We're sitting down with the legendary Grammy Award-winning Earl Klugh. Thanks for taking time with us.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is really nice. Thank you.
It was a wonderful show today. And you have been playing and performing for decades.
Yes. Several decades. Three going on four. I think about maybe 32, 33 years now. So I'm very lucky.
Look old enough for that.
Oh. Well, thank you.
How did you start playing? What was it with music?
You know, I always loved music. My mom, she really enjoyed music, and she always regretted that she never learned how to play an instrument. So she was determined. I have a younger brother, and he's 3 years younger than me, but she wanted us to be exposed to music. So I picked it up. You know, we got a piano, and I started taking piano lessons immediately. My brother was never too much into it, so it left me with all of the weight of you know, making my mother proud of my situation. So I took piano. It really wasn't what I wanted to play. I always wanted to play guitar, but my mom wanted to play piano. So after having about 5 years of piano lessons, I said, Mom, I want a guitar. I don't want to play piano. I want to play the guitar. Piano's fine, but I really want a guitar. So she finally gave in for my 10th birthday, and I started taking guitar lessons, and it was very good, actually, I must say, taking the piano, because it gave me, you know, all of the basics of music, you know, your chord changes and your sight reading and everything like that. So it was really, I think I did myself a real service by at least going that far. But once I turned 10, I decided I was going to be a guitar player. Okay,
and and we're so glad you did. We're so glad you did. And you're pretty much self-taught, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Besides the 5 years of piano, and I took about 1.5 years guitar lessons. But you know, back then, this was like the early 60s, so there were no such thing as videos, or you couldn't tape record performances you saw on television, you know. So basically, what I did, I would buy records by guitar players that I heard and liked, and I just moved the needle back and forth and try to find the chords, you know. And without knowing it, you know, it was total frustration for me for a while, but it was really giving me ear training, you know, because I'd hear the players play, you know, I'd hear a chord, but then I could pick out the notes, and so that became an education in and of itself. It enables you to, like, if you hear a set of chords of the music, you don't really need to have a sheet of music. You can visualize it. You know, it's just a bit of a process. But most musicians, especially jazz musicians, they come around to that. You know, you hear the intervals and you know what it is. Mm-hmm. Yes.
George Benson had an impact on your life.
Oh yeah, very much so. I met him when I was very young. I met him when I was 17, and he would play at this club in Detroit a couple times a year. This was before he became super famous, you know. This was like 1971, and he'd come to the club in Detroit, and he had a friend who happened to be a friend of mine. He was an older gentleman. His name was Dr. Algernoid Hyman. And he always wanted to be a guitar player, but he wasn't very good at all. But he was a very good doctor. So his whole thing was he would buy these great guitars, and then anybody in town who came said, well, this guy has this great collection of guitars, you know. So that's how I met George, because George came over to his house one day, and I came over the same day. And I sat down, I played with George, and George was like, oh, man, you're not a jazz player, you play classical music. I said, no, I'm trying to play jazz with classical guitar. And he was kind of fascinated with that. You know, he says, oh, man, that's great. And he every time I'd see him when he'd come to town, he says, keep doing what you're doing, you know, and I get together with him. And so after a few years, he gave me an opportunity, because he heard me play. He says, Earl, you sound really good, but says you're not gonna learn how to play with the band playing by yourself. You got to get out and get in a band. And I'm like, well, where am I gonna go? You know. So finally, something happened in his band, and it shuffled around, and he gave me a call. He says, Earl, why don't you come out on the road with me for a little while, and we can work on some things, you know. And that turned into about a year or so, you know. And we went all over, everywhere, all over the United States. We went to England, a lot of stuff, you know. And you know, I was very young at that time. I was 19 then. And after that, you know, it just kind of moved from that point, yeah.
Yeah, to what you've been doing now for years and
for
years.
years and years, yes.
I mean, I can't imagine you doing anything else. What does it feel like to you on stage?
Gosh, I feel pretty comfortable on stage. You know, by nature, I was very, very shy as a young boy, and still, you know, that's my nature. You know, but I've learned how to act my way around that. You know, if I really think of it, you know, there's all these people out here. You know, it's a little bit intimidating, but you know, I've done things to just people want to see a performance and an entertainer, you know, and it's, you know, I mean, I even recently, you know, I have problems sometimes remembering people's names that I don't know, like if there's people I want to introduce out of the audience, you know, if I don't really know them, I blank, you know. I even went to a hypnotist to get my, you know, I mean, I work on myself all the time because I know that's my weakness, you know, but that's a whole nother story.
But you really come alive when you're on stage. And
Oh,
you
yeah,
really
I love it.
engage us.
I love
mean,
it.
That music and the connection that you have with the audience is just wonderful. What is it about music that is so powerful? And I know you know it's powerful because you're a part of that. It does connect us, doesn't it?
Yeah, I tell you, music for me, it's, I mean, in so many ways. One thing that's very, very strong to me, it's like a lot of times you can be somewhere in a whole different space. You can walk into a hotel or a business meeting, you know, and you hear music. It can be a song that you remember from your childhood, and it puts you right there. You gain the same feelings, everything that was going on at that time. That's a very powerful thing.
It is powerful.
Yeah.
What's really important to you, Earl?
What's really important to me?
Yeah.
Gosh, oh boy, just being the best person I can be. You know, a lot of times, you know, I look back, you know, I'm one of these people, you know, sometimes I may have been in a hurry or something, and I was short with somebody. That's the kind of stuff that just drains you, you know. But I think that I've gotten better, you know, I handle things better, and I think the thing that's really important is just being good to people, you know. And, you know, at any point that I think that, you know, I'm running across the airport and somebody's trying to get my attention or something, and, you know, I feel bad in instances that I'm not the best person I can be. Yeah.
So it is people, and we're all people, and
Right.
connecting and just being good to ourselves and to each other.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
what it comes down to. Thank you so much for taking time
Oh,
today.
thank you. I so enjoyed this. Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed this time with you too.